A determinant is something that we can use to determine if an inverse has, if a matrix has an inverse. So when we're talking about determinants, we start with the theorem about inverses, and that is, it says an n by n matrix A has an inverse if and only if the determinant of A is not equal to 0. So we're going to find determinants of 2 by 2s. Now, like in the last example, we're going to do those by hand. We have a little formula for that, which is AD minus BC. If we go 3 by 3 or higher, then again, we're going to use the calculator to help us shorten that process. Let's start with a 2 by 2. I've got one right here, matrix A. So we need to find out if this one has an inverse. So we do the determinant of A is how we'll denote that. And the determinant of A is AD minus BC. So in this case, all we've got really is just 3 times 6 minus 4 times 5, which is going to give us negative 2. Now, according to the theorem, it has an inverse if and only if the determinant is not equal to 0. So this one's not equal to 0. Therefore, does it have an inverse? Yes, it does. Now, here's just a way we can relate this to something we talked about earlier. Why would this determine something to have an inverse or not? Well, we can go back to our formula for the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix and notice that this same piece is on the bottom of the fraction AD minus BC. Well, if AD minus BC were 0, then 1 over 0 would be an undefined fraction and we wouldn't be able to calculate an inverse. So that's how it connects into this theorem, that if AD minus BC were equal to 0, we would know according to this description that it would not have an inverse, and that's just kind of how it connects there. 3 by 3 is our other one, and as I mentioned, we were going to do the calculator to find this. So I'll just show you that for this one I have already entered it into my matrix menu. I've entered it in as matrix B. I'll just show you that B is the same matrix as what we have right here. And then if I want to find the determinant of that one, just where you locate that, you quit out of that menu. We're going to go back to the matrix menu and arrow over to math. It's the first one. And so now we just go back to second matrix one more time, find matrix B, hit enter, negative 10. So we can use the calculator to tell us that the determinant of B is equal to negative 10, which means that yes, it does have an inverse. Inverse exists.